Hey, it's John and Mike once again, brew-news.com, Wednesday night videos. So, we've got more beer.
Yes, we do.
John has brought over this orange, copper-colored beer, and he tells me this is a Kellerbier.
I'm calling it a Kellerbier.
So, what is Kellerbier?
Right, so, I don't really know. But I'll tell you, this is my harvest lager. This is the lager that I put together using homegrown hops from not only from my backyard, but my brother's backyard. And this is where we went for it. Okay? We went for it. We had a great harvest year. We had a ton of hops to use. And I've used homegrown hops in other beers, but very small amounts, just in styles that aren't hop forward. But I've done that, put beers in the competition, and they've actually placed. So all that literature you read about, hey, don't use homegrown hops in beers and you think that they may not perform well in competition. It depends on how you use them, and if you use them as bittering, like that's the other thing they say, like don't use them as a bittering hop because you don't know what the alpha acids are. I think that give it a try, see how it comes out, and then do what you want with it. But this time we had, tons of hops. Pounds of hops. So I decided that we're going to make a harvest. I've done the harvest ale thing. Let's make a harvest lager. So really this is, I went on to Sam Adams' site to look at their Boston lager, and they say 2-row, and then some caramel malt, and then a ton of hops. So that's what this is. I think that I did like 10 pounds of American 2-row, probably a pound of Crystal 60, and then just a bunch of hops. To the point where I didn't even know how much I was putting in because I was just like, okay,
just putting them in.
3 ounces here, 3 ounces there. So it started off with like probably an ounce of Magnum hops that I grow. The rest is Mount Hood, U.S. Mount Hood, I guess. I guess Mount Hood is U.S., but Mount Hood, of course, is its lineage can be tied back to Hallertauer, so a German aroma hop, a noble hop. So I thought, okay, let's do that. Now, I say Kellerbier because I looked at the guidelines for beer judging. 2008, this is definitely a specialty beer. It's going to be category 23 because there really isn't anything that it fits into. But 2014, the draft, looking at the lagers, Kellerbier actually fits this because it's a unfiltered German amber colored lager that's hoppy. So there you go, Kellerbier.
So this is Magnum in Mount Hood. And this is tremendous.
You like this?
This is tremendous. So this is first of all, this is a lager.
Yeah.
Which lager yeast is this? 830?
Oh. No. This is the Mexican.
Oh, that's right.
Lager yeast, because there was that article in BYO. They were talking about lager yeast.
It's like 810 or something like that.
Yeah, I forget the number.
I've always wanted to use that one.
It's 940. I don't remember. But they were talking about lager yeast for German lager, and that was one with their taste test. Actually did better than 830, which is the German lager yeast. So I said, that's proof enough for me to try it out. So that's what that is.
This is what I get. This is what I get.
Talk to me about it.
This is what I get out of this beer.
All right.
Because
we had this for Thanksgiving, and it was tremendous. And now I'm tasting it, and there's a little bit of some funkiness.
No. Okay. All right. This is the aroma. The aroma I first got that really lit me up.
Yeah.
And it definitely carries through into the flavor as well.
Yeah.
Is I get a clear, like, crystallized, candied orange peel.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe a hint of like crystallized ginger, but it's really more of a citrus rind that's when you make candy out of real citrus rind.
Yeah.
That's what I get, and I love it. It actually tastes like crystallized sugar a little bit,
Yeah.
but with a citrus edge. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like there's a spicy component to it
Yeah.
that if I didn't know it was a lager, and I know that you can ferment clean, so, but there's a phenolic like character.
Yeah.
It's super subtle, but it's there. That must be coming from the hops. It must be coming from the hops. Do you remember when we tasted? I can't remember what the beer was that I made. Remember we tasted a beer that I made that was just Warrior,
Yes.
which is a derivative of Magnum, right?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be clean
Yes.
bittering, right?
Neutral bittering,
Remember when
yeah.
we tasted it by itself?
Yep.
It had a slight. It wasn't just bitter, but there was a very slight. I think we talked minty.
Mm.
There's like a minty presence to
Yeah.
it. So I think it's like there's that mintiness
Yeah.
from the Magnum,
Yeah.
from your Magnum,
Yeah.
grown at home
Yeah.
versus some big industrial
Yeah.
complex
Yeah.
hop, right?
Yeah.
And then the combination of your Mount Hood, they've come together to probably, that's where I'm getting that, the slight oddity of the quick, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't know what the real flavor characteristic of that Mexican lager yeast should be. I mean, we can say it's lager yeast and it should be clean, but
Yeah.
but it's good. But all those yeasts do have some character, and I think that it doesn't taste like a pound of Crystal 60.
Mm.
It's not caramelly. It's just beautiful color
Yeah.
with a slight malt body. I think your Crystal malt's giving you a little bit of a malty body,
Yeah.
which is nice. But the thing that really comes through is that aroma and that flavor. I mean, I can taste the hops, but it's almost as if you put Amarillo or Citra in here, in the aroma. It's
Really?
it's amazing.
Well, I don't know if that's just pure amounts. I mean, so
there's like 3 pounds of orange blossom honey in here, right?
no. But I can tell you that Mount Hood makes up, outside of the bittering charge of Magnum, again, an ounce at 60 minutes to go in the boil. Then I probably did another at 15 and probably a good like 2 ounces, and then at flame out like another 2 or 3 ounces.
That's the way to go. I mean, heavy hand and just go for it.
But then, with 3 days to go in fermentation, another 3 ounces of dry hop. Just like stuck it in. I even tied it up in the mesh bag, stuck it in my carboy.
It'll be interesting to see as it ages.
I boiled marbles and stuck it in so it would sink to the bottom.
It'll be interesting to see as it ages if it picks up a little bit more phenolic character, because maybe you picked up with your dry hops, maybe you picked up a little something. But so anyway, if I didn't know it was a lager, you could probably get away with submitting this in competition as a Belgian pale ale or like a Belgian table beer.
Oh yeah.
Because of that subtle character, but I think that subtle phenolic character is completely hop derived.
Yeah.
I normally don't care for that character, but it's balanced so well against the crystal malt in that orange rind thing that it works beautifully. It works, but this beer.
So not a Kellerbier.
No, I would call it Kellerbier because you know why I would call it Kellerbier? Because it is unique, and it's tasty, and it should be called something special.
Yes.
And Kellerbier to me is something special, something different. I mean, there's a German influence in it, but Germany and Belgium isn't that far away from each other, so it's pretty, it's a phenomenally good beer.
A lot of things you could say about that. So I think what's going to be interesting to see.
The sad thing about this beer is you'll never make this beer again.
Well, no.
Right, because next year we'll have a different crop. I mean, to try to capture this again, is it normal domestic two-row or is it domestic pale two-row? I mean, that's another video we can talk about. But do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I don't
so
recall.
it's the way to know is whether its lever bond is like 1.5 to 2 versus 3 or 4. Right.
Yeah. I don't.
It's very nice.
I don't recall.
This is super beer.
So yeah, I know that. And actually, my father-in-law on Thanksgiving said, can you do this again? And I said, nah.
Is he ready to invest?
Maybe not at this point, but I think he's always interested to see like if you can replicate it, you know. Because for Thanksgiving I usually make a beer, but it's always different. And he was happy with this. My brother actually picked out more caramel notes than you did. Maybe it was a little warmer, I don't know. But I think that the proof is, I mean, still, this is fairly young.
Look at the lacing.
Yeah.
For such a simple grain bill, everything was clicking on this batch of beer.
We'll see in a couple months. I think that all my lagers have improved with just being in bottles, in the fridge, and then with a few months time.
If this beer gets better, it's going to be mind blowing.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, you know, there's brewing to style and there's brewing for competition. Then there's brewing for complete satisfaction, enjoyment, and just that other category, which is just intangibles. This beer should score, for me, this beer scores as high as you can in that intangible category. Because it's just, I don't know how you quantify it, but I think people would drink this by the liter. I mean, this is fantastic. What was the starting gravity on this, roughly? I mean,
1050.
1050.
Yeah.
Man.
And it ended out at, shoot, I want to say 1008.
I almost don't want to finish it because when it's gone, it's gone.
Shh, I have more bottles at home.
Well, let's wrap this up.
So for John and Mike, brew-news.com, I ran out of beer again, so I'll just do this. Brew on.
Cheers.